share my screen, please?
Sure.
Alrighty, share computer sound.
Hi, Anita.
Okay, so it seems we have 4 people on. Okay, awesome. So today I am going to be talking about Hmong culture. My name is Shoua, and I am Hmong, so this is perfectly up my alley. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, so first of all, Nyajong. Nyajong means hello in Hmong, and I even wrote it in I think it's called romanization, but in an easier way to pronounce. And I want you guys to try saying hello and you know what your name is. So there's an easy version and a hard version. We're just gonna start with the easy one for now, okay? So I'm gonna go first, and you can choose between saying I'm Shua or my name is Shua, okay? So Nyajong, my name is Shua. Okay. And let's just anybody go next. Oops.
Now Zhang. My name's Oliver.
No,
Hi,
John.
nice to meet
My
you.
name is Anita.
Hi, nice to meet you, Anita.
Me too.
Waiting for 2 more people.
Nyajong. My name is Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Najong, my name is Priscilla.
Nyajong Priscilla. Hello, welcome. Now the harder one, okay? We're gonna add just a few little more words in here. We're gonna say my name is in Hmong. So Nyajong Gulumbe Hu O Shua. Okay? And we're gonna follow this right here. Nyajong Gulumbe Hu O Gulumbe Hu O. And then you say Shua or whatever your name is. All right. So let's go again. Anybody wants to try it?
I'll
Can you
try.
repeat it again, please?
I'll try. Nyajong Gulube Huua Oliver.
Whoa, that's pretty impressive actually. All right, who's next?
I'll go. Naz Shang Gulube Hu Ua Anita.
Whoa, so my romanization worked. Okay, everyone's sounding like native Hmong speakers, I'm not gonna lie, and this language is hard. All right, who's next?
I'll go. Najong Kulumne Bua Priscilla. I'm pretty sure I botched it.
Hi, Priscilla.
Nyajong Gulube Hua Alyssa.
Yep. You guys are sounding like native Hmong speakers. Okay. All right, so let's go into a little bit of history since we just introduced ourselves. So language of the week or language of the date is Hmong, okay? So this H-M-O-N-G is how you spell it in English. H-M-O-O-B is how you spell it in Hmong, okay? So you guys say Hmong, but the correct pronunciation is Hmong, Hmong, okay? And it's spoken in China, Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand. There are about 4 million speakers, and we're really closely related to Mian and descendants of Chinese, okay? Fun facts, the consonant at the end of each Hmong word is not pronounced. It indicates the tone of the word, hence why I said Hmong and not Hmong. You don't hear the g at the end there, no. All right? And I'm just gonna read off this little list here just so you guys can hear a little bit more about how the Hmong language sounds like. So hello, we just learned that. Does anyone wanna give it a shot?
Nyajong.
Nyajong, Nyajong, good job. And then what is your name is, anybody else wants to try that one? Actually, I didn't teach you that one. So what is your name? Golumbe Hulika. Golumbe Hulika. Nice to meet you. Zhongxie Dongjiko. And then you are very nice. Goxie Zhongheng. You are very nice. And then goodbye. I'll teach you that one at the end, okay? All right, a little bit about myself, okay? I am a first generation Hmong American. I wanted to be patriotic and stuff, so I joined the National Guard for like 8 months. And it was a short little program for me, but I found out that in the long term, it just really didn't suit my lifestyle, and that was okay. You know, you live and you learn, and I'm just really proud to be Hmong American, and I want to try so many different things. All right. And I can read, write, and speak in both Hmong and English, okay? And in that little picture that I just clicked here, it says Hlu, which means love, okay? I am the oldest of 4 siblings. It's quite tough being, you know, the oldest in a Hmong family because expectations are right up there, okay? And it's challenging because, you know, your siblings are always looking up to you, and you know, you are the first to start college, so you're their inspiration, you're their motivation to keep striving, okay? I studied linguistics with an emphasis in teaching English as a second language at Fresno State. Okay, I recently graduated this past spring, 2020. So a little fun fact about me is that growing up, I never really liked my first name, Shoua. Everyone who knew me before college always called me by my middle name, and lucky, and funny enough, my middle name is Alyssa, just like our specialist, Alyssa Tobar. Okay, but when I went to college, I was like, it's too hard to always, you know, to always correct them and say, hey, I want to be called Alyssa. And you know, I started thinking, why can't I embrace my first name? So I didn't correct them. I let them call me Shua, and I started getting used to it. I started taking some Hmong minor classes, and I was able to learn more about my culture and appreciate it. I was like, I'm talented because I can read, write, and speak in Hmong, yet why am I not embracing it? So that's why I was okay with using Shua, and that's why I'm okay with you guys calling me Shua now. Okay, and a little bit about myself too. This past Sunday, I recently got married in a traditional Hmong wedding. That's my husband in the photo there. His name is Hai, like hello, hi. And it was a very experiential and beautiful day for me because I really didn't plan much. You know, in the American weddings, you're always like, I want this and that for my bridesmaid. I want this flower, that color, this theme. Not here. You kind of just let the parents do it, and you have to, you know, you can choose to do American or Hmong, but I was like, I'm gonna do Hmong. I want to experience what this feels like, you know, and in the future, if I want to host an American one, I can go ahead and do that. But I let them handle it all, and they picked my outfit for me. I didn't do anything. I just, you know, I just sat at the house and looked pretty while everyone did all the traditions, and they were doing things I didn't even know could happen at a Hmong wedding. For example, when the main guy would come in, he's the leader for my husband's side of the family. He would hand every single one of the family members a cigarette. I don't really know the meaning of this, but it's about like respect. So even if they don't smoke, they're handing them a cigarette each. And I'm like, why are they doing this? You know, we don't even smoke. But I was like, sit and look pretty, sit and look pretty. And that's what I find so interesting about culture. You know, there are some things where you don't quite understand because you are, for example, Hmong American, and you don't explore that side of yourself. And so that's why I say it is experiential. Okay. Hmong clothing, okay? So Hmong clothing is very interesting. As you saw, I was wearing an outfit here. You see some coin, some colors. But I'm going to show you a few different outfits here. And I want to hear a little bit about what you guys noticed about Hmong clothing.
For me, it would have to be for the women, the hats, as well as like, I guess I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about this, but like the color they wear, like especially like the band around their waist.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so anybody else before I add something?
There are lots of little danglies on all the clothes.
We love danglies. Uh-huh. So the danglies come in beads, come in like shell-looking things. Coins is the main one that you see here, because when we walk, you hear ching, 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 ching. And in the Hmong culture, for the Hmong New Year, we wear a lot of coins to attract attention because we're always busy farming and we never have time to court. And so the Hmong New Year is a time to court. The more coins you wear, the more noise you make, the more you are attractive to other people. And so you're attracting attention through sound and colors. And they spend all year making these clothings too. You know, now we have like sewing machines and all kinds of things. But back then you had to sew every single one of these by hand. Every design, you know, your mom is always sewing you an outfit in preparation for the Hmong New Year. They want you to find a good mate. So that's the significance of Hmong clothing and the coins and such. Okay. Any questions so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like so now I know about the dangling parts, like the coins and the jewelry. So color, does that also play in part, as in like, you know, the more colors you have or the more vibrant colors you have that like, you know, catches other people's attention, does that count as well, or does color play a different role in the traditional outfits?
Mm-hmm. I think that you're absolutely right. The colors play a role in like drawing attention, but I also think, you know, it's whatever the maker of the clothing decides to. So I guess, for example, if my mother decided green and blue because that's just her favorite color, or she finds that very beautiful, then she goes ahead and does that. And it's very special when you wear it. You're like, this is what my mom created for me. And that's how it works. But now, you know, you can just buy it at the vendors and other people would sew it for you. It's
Oh,
not,
okay.
my mom doesn't know how to sew, so so there we just buy it. Okay, nice, good question. All right, so the next one is I want to share a site with you guys. It's called the Hmong Museum, and it's located in St. Paul, Minnesota. You can I can click this link, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to tell you what's on there. You can find different things such as free Hmong coloring pages. You can see one here at the bottom right. You can see about different Hmong tattoos. Hmong people are not really keen on tattoos because they don't want to mark their body. They want to keep it pure and nice. But nowadays, you can actually take all the Hmong embroideries and you know, get a tattoo, and they'll talk about different meanings and things like that on Hmong Museum, which I find very interesting. And there are short films that Hmong people have created on this website, and cross-stitching workshops that you can sign up for, and I believe they are free. It's like a 3-hour course on how to sew something, you know. So there's no excuses if you want to learn something new, you know. There's so many resources online, and this is one of them. This video right here is a little documentary that I got from the Hmong Museum website, and it talks about a mother and her cross-stitching journey, and she shares that with her daughter. It's about 5 minutes long, but I think I'm just gonna play maybe the first 2 to 3 minutes or so for us. Okay. Let me know if you guys can't hear.
Thổ có ban đầu mà có rất chỉ xe, có chỉ xe thì có chỉ tao, có chủ luôn thành chỉ có chủ dùng xe xí, giờ có một cái nhiều xe lại là chỉ có tao một cái giờ chết tâm mình chạy.
I have very fond and vivid memories of me sitting with my mother for hours on the weekends, just making bandao. I would remember like Saturday nights would be like our movie night, but we would be making bandao as we would be watching movies. So I have this very long cloth of just red thread through it, and it was what I was working on. We began to talk about the lack of spaces for intergenerational conversations. So we remember times where our grandmothers sat at the window and we would sit with them and observe what they were doing with their threads and needles and their cloth. And for them to just explain what they were doing, watching what they were doing. Project Bandao came out of that realization that we needed a space, maybe to recreate those conversations so that different generations could come together and learn from one another. So I asked my mother, Suzanne, to see if she would be interested and able to support us in this pilot program. And she was very much interested.
thầu của bao tiền yo chỉ chắc công nè cho son đó chị lúc hiện tại của xã thì cũng mua trong hiống tụ kia của xã ấy suy bị xã nó mới của bao kia của xã mà xã lúc chỉ on đấy thì mà xã lúc chó chị thầu xã lên đó ya của cho xã và có chỗ công là lâu nó chị của bao kia của xã ta chị trong cái lý do thầu lúc xưa cũng mua lý gì xong chị của bao bị kia của tờ lâu chị của cho tờ lâu là chị của nhà mà họ kia của ban đầu giá ban đầu nó mà của nông của bao tiền do vị gia chính sở lúc cho lúc sẽ cho á chỉ kia này chị của bao tao tê đâu lúc đã cho lúc tu sĩ vậy nè mong cho chú chị ya chủ tao ở trong đó có thể dùng mong.
When we ran the pilot program that first year, as much as it transformed the
All right. So I thought that that was really interesting for her to share about her journey with cross-stitching and a little bit of history regarding how that's passed down, you know, like your grandmother teaches it to your mother's supposed to teach it to you, but that's slowly lost throughout time. And, you know, my grandma, I remember she taught me how to cross-stitch a few items, but you know when she passed away, that's the only experience I've ever had with it. And I don't know where my embroidered stuff went, but I was like, oh, maybe one day I can recreate it or recreate something similar, you know. And I thought it's really beautiful to be able to have this project here where they embrace Hmong embroidery. All right, so Hmong embroidery has meaning. Every cross-stitching pattern that they have on their clothing has some type of meaning. So for example, the first one you see here is Gotonsu, so elephant's foot, okay? I don't know if it actually resembles an elephant's foot to you, but I think it's a really beautiful pattern, almost like a flower to me. The next one that's very common in a lot of the clothings is the snail, or the kaku, okay? So it looks like that. And then this one is also a snail, or the K, or Luku Ying. It's another version of a snail. Okay. And the last one, mountains. The Hmong people lived in the mountains of a lot of the Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam, Laos, Thailand. So that's why we do these little triangle patterns to resemble the mountains, or Lutong. Okay, and then this last one here, this crazy little design here, it's not really the last one. Okay, this little crazy square design here, it represents a house, okay? House keeps us really safe. You have to be able to know how to build your house out of the supplies that you have in the forest, so like bamboo and wood and things like that. And then the next one is the quarter, or the rick-rack steps. That's where they like to do a lot of their farming. There's another rick-rack step next to it. It's just one little corner. But they represent like the slopes and stuff where we would farm. And the last one is just an X or a cross. I'm not really sure what the meaning of that one is, but we do have a lot of cross stitching. So they use the cross stitching to create, let's say, the elephant's foot or the snail or the house. Okay. All right. So try to remember all of these patterns for this next photo. All right, guys. Which meanings do you see in this photo?
Elephant's foot.
Elephant's foot. Uh-huh.
What about snail? Does that count in there within the elephant's foot? Since the elephant's
I
foot
was
has a
thinking
snail?
that too, but it's because it's connected. We're gonna assume it's elephant's foot, but if it's not connected, then it's like little snails.
Oh,
What else do you see?
So the house in the middle.
House in the
right?
middle.
The house is in the middle.
And mountains.
mountains, yeah.
I see little mountains. And what else?
But the little corners count?
Yeah,
Okay.
The rick rack steps.
Hmm.
So what I see here is a house that's surrounded by mountains. That's surrounded. I thought these were snails too, actually, until you guys said elephant's foot. But I'm not really sure what the significance of elephant's foot is. Now that now that it's brought to my attention, and then around that is the rickrack steps. Maybe we farm on the outskirts and things like that. We have to actually travel from our house to go farm in the proper areas. Okay, so yeah. All right, Hmong food. Okay, I love food, so this is definitely my area. Okay, so the first one that I want to introduce you guys to is mustard greens with pork belly, or just any type of pork, really. And it's a soup, okay? Super simple ingredients. It's like farm to table type of stuff, okay? Guess what the ingredients of it is for the seasoning?
Pork fat, that has to be one of them. Or is that a never mind, it comes with the pork.
Uh-huh. It's simply just salted. That's it. There's only salt in there, maybe lemongrass. I like to add ginger to pizzazz it up, but traditionally it's just the green mustards, the pork belly, and salt. Super simple, super healthy, and comforting for a lot of Hmong older generations. Okay. The next one is a bing kao dish. And it's just a noodle dish. You just mix meats and sauces and things like that. That one's a little bit more trendy. You see it at a lot of Hmong events because it's easy to eat, it's easy to make, and it's delicious. Okay. And then the next one is papaya salad. Papaya salad, one thing that you might notice about Hmong food is that we adapt a lot of the foods around us. So originally, I think papaya salad originated from Thai and Lao culture, but we adapted it and we make our own version, or we make it pretty much similar. And it's something I always crave. It's spicy, salty, fishy, because they use a lot of fermented fish in there, like fermented, I'm going to tell you all of them: fermented shrimp, fermented crab, even squid, and like all sorts of things. And if I think Oliver said he's not a fan of fish sauce because it is a bit stinky, so I would understand why, but I absolutely love it. There's tamarind in there too, and you can adjust the spice level according to your tolerance. Okay. And then the next one is kopon. Kopon is, I think, Thai and Lao as well. We're starting to see a trend here, and it's curry. It's a curry noodle dish, super flavorful. I just had some yesterday with my in-laws, and it's one of my favorite foods. It's very comforting. It's very salty and robust. And then I love the little bean sprouts at the top because it makes it extremely, extremely fresh. And then the little black stuff is actually like banana blossoms. So you take a banana blossom that hasn't turned into a banana and you cut it up, and that's one of the toppings. All right, and then egg rolls. I think this one's pretty universal. A lot of people love egg rolls. They know about egg rolls. You see it at Panda Express and all over the place, but there's different versions of it. Hmong people, we basically, you see the bing up there? That's what's in the egg roll, basically. It's very similar ingredients all across the board. Okay. And then this one is the sweet pork. There's whole eggs in there, sugar, I think like soy sauce of some kind, pork, and ginger, lemongrass. That one is very, very flavorful. A lot of Hmong folks love that one. And I especially love the eggs. It's super sweet and savory. Okay. And then this one is Hmong sausage. If you've never had Hmong sausage, I invite you to go try it, because what's different about it is that they use ginger in there compared to a lot of the other sausages. And I mean, if you're not a fan of ginger, I'm sorry, you're missing out. But Hmong sausage, it's elevated with the ginger, and that's what a lot of people know it for, the ginger. So it's my favorite food, and should try it out. You can eat it with purple sticky rice, regular sticky rice. Hmong people usually eat their foods with regular non-sticky, rice, not sticky. All right, list of places in Fresno that sell Hmong food or very similar foods. Like I said, we adapted a lot of the cultures. So if you're located here in Fresno, give these places a try. There's legendary pho right around the corner where I used to live. So in West Fresno, it's really yummy. They also do the pho challenge there. So you can get, I think it's a 5-pound bowl of pho. And if you finish it, then you don't have to pay $25. But if you don't, then you have to pay $25. So it's crazy. This girl here, she's not Hmong. I think she's Chinese, but she attempted it and she finished. I'm pretty impressed. Okay. And then there is a new place called Tiger Bite Bowls. It's located on Kings Canyon. I haven't had a chance to try it, but think of it similar to like Panda Express, but like Hmong version. Okay. And then there is, Asian supermarket. It says Asian supermarket adventures. So many goods from all across the world in there. So if you're, you just itching to try something new, definitely give it a shot. There's Hmong sausage in there as well. And yeah, there's TC Fresh Meat Market, Bingo Supermarket, SF Market. I went to SF Market for the first time the other day to just get some different goods, and I was pretty impressed by the variety. And also Asian One Grocery. It's a little grocery store in West Fresno as well. Okay. All right. Any questions before I talk about the Hmong New Year?
No.
Nope. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to talk about the Hmong New Year. This year, sadly, due to the pandemic, we will not be hosting it. It's pretty sad, and it's also, it happens every year, but it sucks that for 2020, it's not happening. And so I just wanted to share a little piece about it to you guys. Usually, it's held at the Fresno Fairgrounds. So you'll see things like people come and perform with the ling instrument. It's a bamboo instrument. You'll see them, entertain by dancing, by singing. You'll see vendors sell foods, the different foods that you guys saw up there, and you'll also see vendors sell medicines. Herbs and clothings and just a lot of different goods that you can get. Okay, so I wanted to let you guys in on the ling instrument, how it sounds like, okay? All right. That little boy is really talented because that is extremely hard to do. You think he's just jumping all over the place, but there's a rhyme and meaning to everything he does. And he has, for him to be able to learn this, he has to have had a master. They call it a master. Usually girls don't really perform the ling instruments, but you do see them do it now, which is pretty amazing. Women empowerment, whoo! And you see him wearing the coins, right? It's going ching ching ching. You'll see it all over Hmong clothing, especially during the Hmong New Year. You'll see more plain clothing in just like the average life in like Laos and Thai and things like that. Okay, all right. And then the next one, Hmong dancing. This particular group is called the Minnesota Sunshine, and they won first place in a dance competition at the Hmong New Year in 2019 in St. Paul River Center. Okay. As a kid, I absolutely adored like Hmong dancing. I remember back then, my mom would always get me at the Hmong New Year, they would sell cassettes of Hmong dancing, and she would always buy me a new cassette every single year. And I don't know where they all went, but I had like a whole stack of cassettes of Hmong dancing, and it was pretty amazing. I've always wanted to. I've done a few Hmong dance, but I'm not really talented in that area. So it was just more for funsies, but it's not, you know, they're pretty gifted, this group right here. Okay. All right, and then the next one is Hmong song. So earlier I showed you, you know, this a singer. So this is actually a more trendy song, but the reason I chose this one is because the music is still kind of traditional. So let's listen to how it sounds like.
Cú rong xia tao có lo lú tiền nó Yua ru có chỉ mua nu cho Chỉ bù có lu qua mua lo Yua lu có mu ta tiền nó
Alrighties. And sadly, this singer recently passed away during a shooting here in the United States. It was I forgot what the event exactly was, but the Hmong community was saddened by his passing. So this is for him. Okay. All right, so I have a little activity called Ball Ball. During the Hmong New Year, what we like to do is we like to stand in 2 rows and we like to toss the ball back and forth, and this is how they court. So, you know, we're not going to court, guys, but what we're going to do is, here's the directions. We're going to toss the ball, we're going to pretend to toss an imaginary ball to someone in the workshop. And we're going to ask them one of these questions about their culture. Okay, you guys get to pick and choose which one you want. There are 3 questions up on the slideshow. So I'll answer one question first, and then I'll take the ball and I'll toss it to another lucky person in the audience, okay? So let's see, which one should I go with? What is your favorite traditional dish to eat in your culture? My favorite traditional dish is I really enjoy the simple dishes. So for example, like the mustard greens with the pork belly soup, or just a simple pumpkin soup with nothing in there, no salt, just water and pumpkin. I'm very old-fashioned. I prefer to eat more clean, and that's my favorite traditional dish to eat. Okay, so I have the ball here. I'm pretending to toss it. I'm going to toss it to Anita.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm going to toss it to you, and I'm going to ask you, which part of the workshop did you find the most interesting?
Oh, that's hard to decide because it was all very interesting. I really love languages, so that part was especially interesting. And I was here when the handiwork, the embroidery was very available when people first started coming to the United States. So I enjoyed knowing the meaning of some of the symbols because I think the work is beautiful. Okay, so I'm taking the ball, but right now I don't see anybody else, but I know Alisa, because she always communicates with me about the language. And so, Alisa, I'm tossing the ball to you and asking you, what would you like to learn more about in the Hmong culture?
Okay, and I catch it. So I would like to learn more about the meanings of the symbols. So when I was making the flyer, I was there were so many symbols and the meanings, and like they have like meanings about like prosperity and that kind of stuff. So I thought that was really interesting. I would also love to learn more about the Hmong New Year, and I'm really kicking myself because even though I've lived in Fresno my entire life, I've never gone to the Hmong New Year. So, and now I can't go, but I would really want to learn more about that. And I said two things, sorry. But yeah, I wanted to learn more about that.
When is that? When does that normally happen, the New Year?
It usually happens, I think, the day after Christmas, all the way up until I think like for 1 week.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'm gonna throw the ball to the person who showed up on my screen, which is Priscilla.
And I catch. So, do I have to pick a question, or does Alyssa have to a question ask me something?
I will ask you, what is your favorite traditional dish to eat in your culture? Because I don't know what your culture is.
Oh, I actually come from Mexican culture. I guess from you, there's a lot of things, but hands down, one of my all-time favorite and comfort foods is pozole, which is basically like a soup with corn grains, like corn. So you get like the corn and you strip it of all the little kernels. There we go. So it's a soup made of corn kernels and pork. Although in some regions in Mexico they use chicken instead of pork. But for my family and like my region, well, my origin region, they use pork. So that's it's very filling. Depending on which region you live, some places they add avocado to pozole, the soup, and some places they don't. But others they add onion, cilantro, cabbage, radishes. What's another one they always lemon. So I always put every single condiment I can on my bowl of pozole because like it's very filling, very comforting. They use like chilies, chili peppers to color the soup and give it some flavor. But we always eat it always during winter. You can eat it through the rest of the year, but winter is when it's mainly consumed and like prepared. But it's very delicious. Okay, then I'm gonna toss the ball to, let's see, Oliver. Let's see, what would you like to learn more about in the Hmong culture?
Okay, well, I'll catch the ball. And then I would like to learn more about the different places where they live, because Minnesota came up 2 times. And growing up here, I know there's a large Hmong population here, but then Minnesota came up 2 times. Makes me think that there's a large population there too, and I wonder where else they live and how they came to live in these 2 different places.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to know. So I will toss the ball to, I'll toss the ball to Lon. And I won't ask her number 2 because she missed some of it. But just number 1, what's your favorite traditional dish to eat in your culture?
So my family comes from Vietnam, and my favorite traditional dish to eat is, it's, as Shoua mentioned earlier, just a very simple dish. It's a kind of water spinach that's sauteed with garlic and fish sauce and some pepper. And it's delicious. It's really simple, but it's very comforting as a side dish with just like rice and whatever the main dish is. And it's extra comforting because my grandma grew some of that spinach around a fish pond that she had at her house here in Fresno.
That sounds so delicious, Lon.
I know.
And to answer you, Oliver, yes, Minnesota came up quite a few times. Huge population here in Fresno, huge population in Minnesota, also in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Wisconsin, I know of. There's a few other ones, but they're not as concentrated. Those are the most concentrated areas, I would have to say, and also Sacramento. So Sacramento's a really big one as well. Okay. Any other questions? Any other things that you guys would like to throw out there?
Why South Carolina?
Because I think it's easier to find jobs up there, and it's also farm friendly. Apparently, that's where my grandma and grandpa lives. My so my mom's parents, their whole family moved up there. My mom's the only one down here because she's married to my dad. So we're here, but they're all over there, and they were able to find jobs easier. It's more free spirited in the East, I would have to say. They all have a little Southern accent now, but other than that, it's a great place to live. It's not for me though, for sure. I'm more of either Cali or just Cali.
Do they speak Hmong with a Southern accent?
No, it sounds Hmong, but they'll say y'all. They'll be like, "What y'all doing?"
Okay, so they don't speak like, it's not Hmong with a Southern drawl.
No, I don't hear it. I think it's the Hmong has been ingrained as originally Hmong. I don't know. It's like the Southern accent came in later because they were from here too. Yeah. Alrighties. Last but not least, I promised you guys that I would teach you how to say, goodbye, because earlier we were talking about it. In the Hmong culture, we do not say goodbye. We actually say see you again, okay? We never say goodbye, okay? So this is how you say it. We say xin ji duo. So I wrote it as, I think it's called romanization. Correct me if I'm wrong, you linguistics people out there. Shi ji duo, but it's xin ji duo if you want to pronounce it very clearly. Xin ji duo. So we're gonna go through the list, and everyone's gonna get a chance to say see you again, not goodbye. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna call Priscilla first. Priscilla.
Thank you. Shiji duo.
Xin ji duo. Okay, you can call the next person, Priscilla.
All right. Anita.
Ji dua.
Xin ji duo.
Nan.
Xin ji dua.
Xin ji
Alyssa?
duo lan.
Shinji Dua.
Xin ji duo Alyssa.
Oliver?
Jin Dua.
All right, xin ji duo Oliver. And that concludes the little workshop today. Any questions?
I have one concerning Hmong New Year's. So as Alyssa said, even though I've lived here in Visalia, Fresno is always close by to want to go to the Hmong New Year. And I do have a Hmong friend, and she's always telling me, we should go to the Hmong New Year. And it's not that I've never wanted to go. I've always wanted to go. However, I want to respect, the culture and everything. I don't want to make sure, I'm, showing up. I don't know. Is it only for, for the Hmong population, or can anyone go?
Anyone can go.
Okay, second question.
Can anyone? It's super diverse.
Oh, okay. Can anyone also dress in their traditional clothing? Because my friend told me also, she would like me to try it out. I'm like, yes, I want to, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to offend anyone. So I want to tread very lightly. So can anyone wear the traditional clothing?
I don't see why you can't wear your own traditional clothing. Everyone else is wearing traditional clothing. I know it's a Hmong New Year, but if you wear that, I don't see why you can't. I wouldn't judge you. I'd be like, that person's cool. Okay, any other questions? Yeah. Try visiting a Hmong New Year if you ever have a chance. They have it in Sacramento, Merced, they have it in South Carolina and Minnesota. So you have plenty of different
options. Yes. Thank you. I'm gonna see which ones I want to go for adventure.
If you go to Minnesota, you're gonna have to be indoors 100% because of the snow and stuff. So.
Gotcha. Thank you.
It's funny because in Minnesota, the popular junk food is donuts. I don't know why, but then here at the Hmong New Year, the popular junk food is churros. It's really weird.
Makes sense,
That fits though.
Yeah. I would always get a churro before I leave.
It fits with the area. It's like Minnesota donuts, California churros.
I never pass up on a churro.
I love churros.
I have a question. So is farming a really big industry for the Hmong culture? Is that the job that parents push their kids towards, or is it more the STEM field, or is farming still a big draw for people?
So farming is big for the older generation because they couldn't get higher education to get better jobs. So they're stuck with farming. So they definitely do not want us to stay in farming. They want us to do better. They want us to be doctors and lawyers and all that good stuff, right? But I really became an ESL teacher, and that's fine. I love ESL. But definitely it was big because back in, the home country, that's all they did for a living. They farmed, and they woke up super early in the morning, farmed and sold the crops and things like that, and then they grew their own food too. So that's huge with the Hmong people. We're farming people. Good question. Anybody else? Alrighties then, I don't hear anything else, so I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for having me and allowing me to share a little bit about my culture, and thank you for participating and in my little activities like the the ball toss, or even pronouncing the words. I know when you speak another language, when you try to speak another language, you're always like worried that you're gonna butcher it. You're like, all sorts of worries and anxiety. But I'm glad you guys tried it, and that's how you guys learn, So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us, Shoua.
Thank you.
Thank you,
My pleasure.
Shoua.